First thing you ought to know, I'm not a chef. I'm just someone who really loves to cook. I'm also someone who has to cook on a budget. But that doesn't mean you cannot make some amazing dishes. I want to show people that first, you can cook. And second, it's not that hard to make something extraordinary, even as a beginner. So join me as we make fun and affordable food. Cake, a staple of American birthday parties and weddings. The origin of celebrating with cake goes back to the 14th century in Germany, when they would celebrate children's birthdays with a cake in a celebration called Kinderfest. This cake, however, was far different from what we would consider cake today. It was a coarse bread-like product, but did later become much sweeter, called... hold on. Are you serious? You want me to pronounce that? Okay, hold on. Okay, here.
Geburtstagstorte.
Geburtstagstorte.
That is not correct.
I am so sorry. By the 17th century, birthday cakes became more elaborate with details like icing, layers, and decorations. However, these cakes were really only accessible to the wealthy. Coming up to a more modern era, the first patented cake mix was in 1930 by John D. Duff. In 1948, Pillsbury released a chocolate cake mix, which was shortly followed by Betty Crocker and other brands releasing their own versions.
It's just as fluffy and moist as the cakes Betty Crocker and her staff make. In fact, Betty Crocker White Cake Mix is a favorite Betty Crocker recipe.
Now, cake mixes are a staple for families across America, looking for something sweet on a special occasion. Boxed cake mixes. Everybody uses them. They're great, they taste good. But the fact is, we can make them a little better just by changing a few things. What you're going to need today is a boxed cake mix, 5 eggs, 3/4 cup of butter, and 1 1/4 cup of milk. Let's get started. So with a boxed cakes mix, usually just follow the instructions. And the fact is, we're gonna do almost everything that they do, just a little better. So go preheat your oven to 350 degrees. First thing we're gonna do is add our cake mix into the bowl. Then add your eggs. And one more. And then we need to add 1 1/4 cup of milk. If you read the backs of the cake mix, you'd realize we're actually just trading out ingredients that were already there. Instead of water, we're doing milk, doing 5 eggs instead of 3. Now instead of oil, we're going to do 3/4 cup of butter, melted. So just melt them in butter. Here's the thing about eggs and hot liquid. It will cook your eggs, and the last thing you want in your cake is scrambled eggs. So actually, the first thing I'm gonna do, now that I already have the milk and the eggs in here, is I'm gonna actually beat this up a little bit to get everything starting to mix. All right. Once you've mixed it up pretty good, it looks kind of like pudding. Add your melted butter in. Now just know, this is gonna be way wetter than your normal cake mix. And that's okay. In the end, you're gonna have a much better consistency. It's gonna be less crumbly. It's gonna have really, really great spongy texture. Now mix until everything is well incorporated. All right, that's what you're looking for. Now we just have to add it into our pans. So today I'm gonna use 2 9-inch round pans because I wanna come out with a nice double layered cake. I forgot to tell you, you probably wanna know what kind of cake we're making. Obviously it's a chocolate cake, but I think I'm gonna go for a mocha icing. Just put some coffee in it. We'll get there in just a little bit. But whatever pan you use, you need to grease it. So I'm putting in parchment paper. That'll make it way easier if you plan to take it out. If you're going to eat your cake out of the pan, you don't have to worry. You still have to grease it, but don't worry about parchment paper. If you want to take it out and decorate it, use parchment paper. It'll make your life a lot easier. If you're doing a single pan, pour the whole thing in. If you're doing more than one, just evenly distribute them between them. All right, pop them into the oven for the time that's said on the box. We'll do the same, and we'll see you then. For my frosting, I creamed 1 cup of butter with 3.5 cups of powdered sugar for about 10 seconds until it was combined. I then added vanilla and some milk to get the desired consistency. Since I decided I was going to make a coffee frosting for my mocha cake, I added 1/4 cup of strong coffee and then used powdered sugar to get the right consistency. So we got our cakes out of the oven and they turned out perfectly. Use a toothpick to go in. If it comes out clean, ready to go. Then before you put any frosting on them, always let them cool completely. If you put frosting onto a warm cake, it's gonna melt. It's gonna be a mess. So these have had a chance to cool completely. Frosting on, and I mean, we'll just do a montage of me icing this cake. And there we go, an elevated cake from a box mix.
Oh, I love the cake. I usually don't actually like cake. It's usually like too dry or like just there's more cake than there's icing, but like perfect. I love it.
Usually a lot of sugar really makes my stomach hurt, but this was just like the perfect amount of sweet and it was very, very good.
That's good. What I like about it is the cake doesn't override the icing. It blends with it. It's good.
Like it. It's very light. Not real heavy. The taste of the coffee is there, but not overpowering.